So Dr. Hardeep Minhas is a podiatrist specializing in foot and ankle surgery, diabetic foot care, as well as treating sports medicine related conditions. He currently has 2 locations, one in Munster and one in Mission City, Indiana. So welcome, Dr. Minhas. Thank you for joining us today, and we're really glad to have you here.
Great, thank you. Thank you for having me.
Can you tell us a little bit about your background and why you chose podiatry as a profession?
Sure. So I really, honestly, I always wanted to go into healthcare. I've got a lot of physicians in my family. And then, throughout undergraduate degree, I kind of just explored different healthcare fields. One of the physicians that I ended up shadowing was a podiatrist. And I like the fact that, he was dealing with multiple conditions, and it wasn't very repetitive. In a given day, if he saw 20 patients, a few were diabetics, a few were fractures, a few were just elective care. So it was kind of the diversity that honestly got me really interested in it. So then I started exploring more, and then I enjoyed just learning more about it, and decided to apply and do podiatry school.
Yeah, diversity is always good. It keeps your job interesting. Can you tell us a little bit about your practice and how long you've been in business?
Sure. So I've been in business for about 6 to 7 years at this point. I actually grew up in the Chicagoland area, so I wanted to stay close. And I found a good opportunity in the Northwest Indiana area. So I started a clinic in Munster originally. And then I saw that there was more of a need, further east. So Michigan City is about 30 miles east of here in the Munster. So then I opened up a second location there. But in the practice, generally, I do see pretty much everybody with any sort of an issue for their foot and ankle. So I do a lot of wound care, a lot of diabetic. I take a lot of calls, so I do see a lot of emergencies, trauma, take them to surgeries. I'm affiliated with several local hospitals that I do surgeries out of, and I take ER call there. So yeah, and I see patients of all ages, starting from, I've seen patients literally as young as just a few days, that have conditions that they were born with, or all the way up to, I think my oldest patient is probably 102, something like that. So
wow.
Yeah. So definitely all ages for all conditions. Yeah.
Very good. It only took you a short couple years before you started that second location. So what were the matrices that you used to determine that it was the right time, right location to expand?
Yeah, when the first location, it got busy, but then, like I said, I did kind of see that there was a need in the area. And that was kind of more of my motive, honestly, just to fill in a need in the area they were just lacking a lot of good podiatry care there. Or there were a few podiatrists that were older. They were kind of looking to not do as much of the surgical volume as well. So that's where I saw that I might serve a good purpose in the community there. So that's when I expanded. It was just and once you get comfortable with the first location, it wasn't really that difficult, especially because you do have a lot of the electronic medical records, billing, and some of the other basic things down. Then it was just kind of transferring it to another location at that point.
Well, that's good. I know that you're only limited to your dreams and your desires. So where do you see yourself in 10 years? Are you going to be focused on building up the 2 practices that you have? Do you want to expand to more offices?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like they're already really built up, already extremely busy. So I would, in 10 years, I would definitely see, I actually had a physician that worked for me in the past, but then he ended up moving to a different state. But I do see some, either 1 or 2 other physicians working with me, and then possibly expanding to a different area. But I think just more so just kind of continuing to provide, good care. I think it's more important to just have the quality there rather than really trying to necessarily expand to new locations. But yeah, I mean, I definitely see myself with more podiatrists that are working with me, and then possibly other locations.
Very good. Quality of care is definitely an important thing to focus on. Do you see yourself expanding into the mobile markets? A lot of the podiatrists I talk to They go from nursing home or assisted living facilities, those type of things. Are you interested in that at all?
You know, I actually did that when I first
Mhm.
started working, just to kind of build up my volume. I did go to several nursing homes, and I actually went to several wound care centers as well, that were affiliated with larger corporations, chain. There's a couple of chain wound care centers and stuff. So I did that for, I would say, a good 3 to 4 years in the beginning. And then as the clinic volume started to really, ramp up, I expanded days just in my clinic, and then I started to go away from the nursing homes, just because I actually didn't want to travel as much to these different facilities. So
Right.
I kind of just condensed everything down to my clinic, and I feel
Mhm.
that's more beneficial for me because this, just kind of time management as well. I'm able to see more patients, kind of give them the same unique care that I'm providing. If I were to go to different facilities, obviously that's a lot of traveling time that gets
It
wasted.
is.
So
It
I
is.
just I kind of saw my time as a little bit more valuable rather than just spending it in the car. So that's why I just started to just really condense it down and just see everything in my clinic at this point.
Completely understand that. You know, I know you started using PrognoCIS right from the beginning when you were opening your office. Um, so what do you think made you choose PrognoCIS over other softwares in the market?
Yeah, so as a resident, we did rotate with a bunch of different physicians, even from different specialties as well. So I was able to see different variety of softwares that they were using.
Mhm.
One of the things that I did like about Prognosis was kind of the simplicity of it. It's very user-friendly, easy to learn, and even like with that one thing that I focus on was even not even just necessarily the physician. I mean, you can learn any software because I mean you're kind of the core of the practice. So it's not
Right.
necessarily about the physician being comfortable with it. I mean, any complicated software, you'll eventually get comfortable with it, but it's more so for the staff because, everyone, can probably agree with me that there's a huge turnover of staff these days, and you want them to be familiarized with this software at a decent pace. You don't, I mean, it would not be beneficial if it took your staff 6 months to a year to get familiar with these tasks. You don't really want to sit there and explain them things for that long. So one of the nicest things was that, everybody was able to pick up on the software extremely fast. And even now, I mean, I have staff, new staff that comes on, and usually like in a week or two, they're able to do basically all their basic tasks that, I'm asking them to do for their certain position. So I think the user friendliness of it, in the
Hmm.
beginning at least, was kind of the biggest benefit for me.
Great. I was going to ask you about your staff, so I'm glad you touched on that point. What specific features in Prognosis that you use in your office have really made a difference in your practice?
So I mean, as we go along, we've honestly started expanding and using a lot more of the features that we didn't even know actually existed in the beginning. But we
Hmm.
do a lot of the prognosis, the check-in software where patients are able to just kind of check in themselves. Some even fill out the forms at home. Some do it when they get here. It eliminates a lot of the paper trail, honestly, because we have iPads that we just hand to the patients, that they can check in, and then they can fill out all their new patient paperwork there right on the
Hmm.
spot. So that's very, very helpful. We do a lot of the electronic signatures. We have like the signature pads that we've been doing. Even kind of all the benefit verification uh,
Hmm.
tasks that are available, so you can run insurance benefits. And it's as simple as just running one simple report, just to see if I have 40 patients in a given day, I can find out like within 3 seconds if any of them are missing something or
Right.
whatever copays that they have. And then I do use the billing software, which is really helpful. It's very user friendly as well. And then technical support's really helpful. If we don't know anything, we call them, or we don't even actually have to call them. There's an online portal that's available. We just submit a query, and then they actually just call us within a couple hours, with the appropriate person that kind of is the expert in that particular subject, and then
Hmm.
it gets handled really fast. So yeah, and then even there's the fax version. There's faxes that you can do in and out of Prognosis, so that's helpful. Text reminders, we do that as well. All of our patients get text messages for their appointments and tells them, we can customize them. Like in mine, I have their appointment date, time, location, and then
Uh-huh.
just a little message if you need to cancel, let us know, something like that. So that's really helpful. It takes so much time away from the staff having to do these tedious tasks.
Great. I'm glad that you used that text reminder. I think that that's nice having that set up and automatically going out. Um, let's talk about documentation for a minute. There's various ways to document in PrognoCIS. There's the templates, there's the typing or dictating. What method do you prefer?
I do pretty much all of it. So I do definitely have templates. I did in the beginning use kind of the basic templates that were available, and then I ended up just kind of
Mhm.
customizing it, obviously. As you kind of get more comfortable with the software and kind of even in the practice, you kind of see what you're going to use more and what you're not going to use as much, and then you can
Right.
customize things, which is really helpful. So I've got my templates extremely customized, and then certain things, if it's just a few things, I will just type it right into the note, and then or some of them are just check boxes. You can just check things off, which is
Mhm.
really easy to do because and then sometimes I do dictate it. So if it's like a longer, if I'm dictating some sort of a plan for the patient, I'll just voice text dictate, right into the note, and that's really beneficial. There's also pictures you can upload into the chart, diagrams, all these things that are available that I use. Sometimes that's helpful for like wounds, so that way you can get a better idea on the progress of the wound itself.
Uh-huh.
So I think it's not necessarily one, it's just kind of like a combination of different things that I use. And and the nice part is that I'm able to use these things on a desktop, on my laptop, and even like on a tablet. So I have an
Mhm.
iPad that I kind of just carry around with me everywhere. So it's nice to be able to just dictate right off the bat. So I can literally do all my notes right on my iPad, and it's that easy. But if I'm in the office, if I'm in a computer, I'll do it on a desktop or a laptop too. So it's just it's a good versatility, and it's compatible with everything.
Very good. You said that you customized some of your templates. Were they difficult to customize, or did you find it pretty easy to do?
No, they're actually really easy. In the beginning, I didn't know how to do it, so I got help with one of the IT, technical support
Mhm.
from PrognoCIS, and then I mean, once you get the hang of it, it just becomes really repetitive. So, yeah,
Got
once you
it.
know how to customize one template, you can customize anything. You can
You
add in,
can.
you can keep adding in as many things as you want. There's really no limit. So yeah, it's very easy to do.
What about your patient intake forms? Did you customize those, or did you just use the one in the system?
In the beginning, we used it in the system, and then we realized that there were things that were missing that we wanted in there.
Uh-huh.
So we started customizing those as well, and now it's extremely customized down to like we have everything that we like ever would want, and it's really nice because the patients are again they're able to do it themselves, and it goes right into their chart where we want it to go. So it just eliminates a lot of back and forth between the front desk person and the patient, and just saves a lot of time. So yeah, we have it extremely customized.
Perfect. Do you participate in the MIPS program? Were you able to use the population health dashboard this year? I mean, it was new this year, so it would be the first time people are reporting on it. Were you able to experience that, or you don't do it?
No, we did it, and we did use that yeah, feature that was available.
Hmm.
Again, I did obviously we didn't know how to use it. It was the first year, so I did get help by someone, and they were kind of the MIPS expert of PrognoCIS
Right.
from the IT department. So they were definitely able to help us kind of walk us through, and it was very simple. I mean, the whole thing, I would say like even if it was our first time using it, I think maybe it took like an hour at the most just to kind of submit
Hmm.
everything and just get the report generated and then submit it on the Medicare website.
Perfect. You did mention that you were doing the RCM billing. How has the RCM service helped you?
So yeah, we've been doing it for I would say about 3 years or so at this point. And
Mhm.
before that, I did have an in-house biller. So comparably, so it was about 3 years before, 3 years after now, I've been using the software. We definitely have faster processes of the claims. I mean, if in a given day, if I see, like I said, about let's say 40 patients or so, if all my notes are done, the next morning I wake up and most of these claims are processed unless there's some sort of an issue with something, but majority of them are actually all processed the next day. And there's
Perfect.
no way to really, yeah, and it's, there's no way to really get that speed, especially in like obviously I'm like a smaller practice, if you have an in-house biller, there's no way absolutely they can bill out that fast. So just the time from the note completion to getting that billing claim sent out I mean, it's probably like 80% faster. And then as far as like the return, we've been seeing the claims are getting paid faster,
Mhm.
and the denial rates are much lower because they're able to catch if something is missing. So before even submitting it, they usually catch, if some date is missing or some modifier is missing, whatever it may be, they're able to catch that right away. So that way that could be adjusted before it even gets submitted. So our denial rates are much lower. I would say,
Great.
I don't know exactly, but I would say about 20 to 30% lower than what they were before. And that's
Great.
the thing and obviously that's going to lead to like an increased revenue. The less the denials, obviously you're going to have a higher reimbursement rate at that point. So
Exactly. Um, Being a podiatrist, have you found that the database has everything that you need for your specific specialty?
yeah, no, definitely. Like I said, I've been using it. I really haven't found
Mhm.
anything that I would need that's missing at this point.
Okay.
Um, yeah, I mean, especially with podiatry, like I said, we do deal a lot with, it's very hands-on. We do see a lot of wounds or post-op patients. And I think some of the softwares do miss a lot of like almost like an audio visual aspect of it that gets incorporated, or it's actually very difficult to do that. With
Uh-huh.
prognosis, it's actually really easy. I mean, on the iPad, I can log into the patient's chart and put any sort of like multimedia stuff right into their notes. So that's helpful. But yeah, no, I think prognosis encompasses pretty much everything.
Did you and I didn't ask you this before, but did you download the iPhone app?
Oh yeah, I do have the iPhone app,
Great. Do you
which
find
is
that's helpful or?
yeah. I mean, it's helpful. You can log in and just check your schedule for the day, which is
Hmm.
nice. Um, it's not, you can't do everything on the app. I mean, it's just nice to be able to just check your schedule and kind of like the basic things, which is nice. But on
Right.
top of the app, I mean, you can just go on the iPhone and just go into your iPhone browser and just log into Prognosis straight that way, where you
You
get
can.
actually like a full on, EMR right on your phone if you really want that. So I do both. Yeah. So the app is quick. You can look up prescriptions, you can look up schedules, things like that,
Mhm.
which is nice.
Now, since you've been so successful in your practice, what would you recommend to other providers looking for an EMR?
Like I said, I would just, whether you're starting out or looking to switch, I would definitely look at just weigh your options, obviously. Just giving, just looking into what the features that are available for
Hmm.
different electronic medical record softwares and stuff. So, but yeah, with prognosis, definitely take a look. It definitely has a lot of the things that we need on a day-to-day basis. It's very user-friendly, convenient to use, and then even like I said, the billing revenue cycle, it's very easy. The fact that you're able to switch over from the EMR to the billing side, you don't necessarily have
Right.
to log out and log into like a totally different website or a different software, and it's very incorporated right there. So you're able to look at the patient note for the day, and then the fact that it was billed out right away. You're not having to go between two different softwares. So I think that's really
Hmm.
helpful. So I think it's efficiency is something that really should be focused on, and that's something to definitely look into if you're looking to sign up or to switch over.
I agree. I think that that's really important to have it integrated because you don't lose any information. It's going to carry over your codes. I really do think that that's a good thing. And plus, it's like you said, when you close your encounter, it's right there, ready for you to edit and send it out the door.
Right,
So
exactly.
yeah, that's really important. Um, I know you had touched on your customer experience with customer service and everything a little bit, but do you think that your customer service with Prognosis has been good?
Yeah, no, definitely. I think it's actually one of the easiest. I mean, out of everything that we have, it's one of the easiest the most helpful technical supports for sure. And I definitely love the fact that, I don't have to call somebody, wait on the phone for an hour, and then them tell me they're going to call me back, and then we don't actually get a call back for days and on end.
Right.
It's very easy. It's again built in the software on the website. You can basically, there's a tab, you can go in there, create a new case. It takes maybe 30 seconds to literally just go in and type in what you need. But like I said, the most recent one I think that I did was I needed help customizing the patient form templates for the prognosis check-in. So you go right in, check it in, and then as soon as they have somebody available, and I think that's the nice part too, you don't get a phone call from somebody that doesn't really know, how to fix your issue. I think I honestly, I don't know how they're filtering this on the back end, but obviously they're filtering it really well to the point where they're assigning these tasks to someone that is going to know how to actually take care of it right there and then.
Good.
So, we'll get a call, and I would say usually it's within like 2 to 4 hours of, or it's the same day, at the latest, somebody will call us and then go over kind of what we're exactly looking for, and then they'll take care of it. So it's very fast, convenient. I think a lot of the physicians will appreciate the fact that, it doesn't really waste your time. And you can even designate in there, like, when you're available. I mean, you could pick a time for them to kind of a window for them to call you back. So it's, I think they're very, the prognosis, the technical support, I think they're very cognizant of your time. So I think that's one of the best things. And then they're able to help you with any task that you need, especially in the beginning. I mean, obviously, you're gonna need help in learning new tasks and how to do certain things. And they're very easy to talk to, very patient in explaining things and then doing things whatever you need.
Right. Now, is there anything that you would like for our audience to take away from your interview today?
I mean, overall, like I said, it's just overall a good system. So if anyone's looking for a new electronic medical record system and the billing software, as well to go along with it, I think it's definitely worth looking at. It's very like all-in-one system.
Great. Thank you for joining us today. We appreciate your time. I'm sure that everybody who is going to listen to your interview will be excited to hear your information and how you felt about the process, and a lot of good information. And if anybody needs a great podiatrist in the Indiana area, look him up. We did a case study on him. It's going to be on our website. Feel free to check that out. It does link over to his website, so feel free to check it and link over to his website and check him out. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you. And if anyone has, any questions at any point, feel free to reach out. We can answer any questions if needed.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
Thank you.